pretty much everything that you're gonna need is gonna be in this top drawer. All your quarter drive stuff's over here, which you should use mostly. 3/8 is on that side. Another issue is when you're doing a fresh build like this from the get-go, is all the factory Loctite that we gotta get out of there, make sure the holes are cleaned, make sure that debris doesn't end up in the engine. We need to drop the oil tank and do a full cleaning and flush of the oil tank, and that way we know that everything's clean. I would recommend doing it because one thing is you're installing a new oil pump and cam plate. Any debris that's in the oil tank runs directly right through the brand new oil pump and cam plate as soon as you start it up, because it goes through the pump and plate twice before it goes to the filter. One thing that likes to get stuck in the oil tank are little pieces of chain tensioner. More common on the twin cam stuff, but just plain debris that, you know, accumulates over the years.
I'm struggling here.
I just kind of wanted to go through and show you guys, you know, the gist of the oil pump, right? So you've got a pressure side and you have a scavenge or return side, and we're just gonna go through and measure this thing up, see how it works. But here's the pressure gear stuff. Works on this side. You've got two kidneys. It's pulling it from the oil tank and then running it through the other side of the cam plate. So the cam plate has matching kidneys to this. Kidneys right here. And this is the pressure relief valve. There's a valve in here that's the same as the twin cam plate, but the Milwaukee 8, it's in the oil pump. And so when the pressure gets too high, we set ours to pop off roughly 55 to 60 PSI. Valve opens up and then it recirculates the oil back through the cam plate. Yeah, so this is your scavenge set. This is the return side. So basically what you have right here is you have the oil pump goes in the engine like this, right? Plugs into the back. So this is where it sucks from the crankcase, which is the crankcase half of the cases. And then this is where it sucks from the camchest. So this port's down at the bottom. You can see this cavity right here is where it sucks from the camchest. That's where it sucks from the crankcase half. It's also like when we have engines that come in here and you have, like, say some engine failure, generally pretty easy to diagnose some of it too, because you'll have like markings in here where you can see something got picked up out of the crankcase half or out of the camchest. Yeah, let's just quick double check this oil pump. But we're going to use a depth mic here. Okay. We want the side clearance difference, the thickness of the gears to the thickness of the housing. You can see our spec sheet over here, but you know, we kind of shoot for 1/1000 to 1.5.
That's pretty gnarly tight tolerance.
And you can also see inside the oil pump, you kind of have these shelves, right? So this is really where I want to focus on taking my measurements, because sometimes you get to this big open area and the gears can cock just slightly. So I'm gonna say it's 1/1000 and roughly 2/10. Same on this one. The gears can roughly rock on this side of the housing because of the big opening. So if you can see, like, I'm measuring this thing comes out.
Yep. And then once it starts to lift.
So I'm measuring the distance that the gears inset from the aluminum. I want the aluminum to be like 1/1000 to 1/1000.5 thicker than what the gear is.
Gotcha.
One thing with the Milwaukee 8, even in the twin cam, you have a lot of crankshaft runout, or they're known for crankshaft runout. And so it really limits how tight you can go with the radial clearance, which is the gear to the housing. And it also kind of limits what you can do for tip to tip clearance. And so one of the ways to best regulate it is to make the side clearance as tight as possible, because that is one thing that you can make tight and still allow the crankshaft to have extra runout.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Well, that one's tight. It's right at 1/1000. We generally like to run the scavenge side a little bit tighter than we do the pressure side. So this one's roughly 2 to 5/10 tighter on the scavenge side than the pressure. So I think we're good to go.
Here it is, ready to rock.
I said 5. We need to add this to it though, too, okay? We need to see how much movement you get just in picking up the That's like going to be initial flex. Another half or thousandths or what?
It's like half.
So say a 22 with just shy of 10,000 miles on it, stock 107, 5.5 thousandths of crankshaft run out, and then we have another half thousandths of playing the bearings and, you know, initial flex. All right, just to talk about the oil pump in relation to the crankshaft run out. We just checked Juan's crankshaft here, and it was 5.5 of initial crankshaft run out, another half thousandths of flex slash, you know, play in the bearings. So we're gonna call it 6 thousandths of crankshaft run out. And just to relate that to the importance of the oil pump, and one thing that you have to do with these gerotor style oil pumps in the Harleys, the Twin Cam and the Milwaukee 8, is you have to take into factor that crankshaft run out. And so one thing that we spend a lot of time here that we, you know, hand set on each one is going to be the side clearance, which is the thickness between the aluminum housing and the gear set, because you have to allow excess room inside the oil pump for that crankshaft run out. So what we call the radial clearance, which is going to be the OD of the gear to the ID of the aluminum housing, we run estimated 4.5 to 6.5 thousandths clearance. And then when it comes to tip, we like to see anywhere between 2 and 4.5. And so we have plenty of room inside the oil pump to accommodate the 6 thousandths run out, although our warranty spec is a little bit below that. So with having the pump as loose as that is to be able to accommodate the crankshaft run out, we have to tighten it up by the side clearance. And so that's what we spend our, you know, laborious time here doing, is matching up the side clearance. And we run on the Milwaukee 8s, we're looking at 1 to 2 thousandths of side clearance on the pressure. And then on the scavenge side, we like to run a little bit tighter. And we actually run down as far as 8/10ths to 1 thousandths and a half on the scavenge side. Listen to that, get that sound in there. It slowly does it through a whole. Coming out up top. Do that on this one here instead of shooting it down the bottom, just go into the side hole. All right, the boys have been working away here, kind of a group effort. We're trying to make flat rate. We're using a couple extra hands, but we're doing the job right. They've got the Camchest bolted up in there, torqued, Loctited, ready to rock and roll. We're using some of the fancy dress-up ARP fasteners on the bike. One thing that I'm doing is I'm going around right now, we're putting a little bit of moly paste on the underhead flange of the bolts, because you don't ever want to have a dry bolt. You're never going to get a true torque if your bolts are dry.
All right, so the thing is though, we're not really gonna finish off right here because Luke wants to shim them so there's no play, what, left and right?
Yeah.
So you see that? We're able to move them side by side.
I just put some rocker shims in. We were at about 10,000, rocking back and forth here.
Rock it now.
Nice and quiet.
Nice.
So here's your 5,000 shim.
Okay, but there was that much play, which allowed it to shake left and right.
Without the shim, you'd be...
Hear how much louder? Now show them the back one that you have shimmed. Much less. So you can imagine when all 4 of these have that much play, how much louder the top end of this thing's gonna be.
I've never done that before. You know, we really spent a lot of time on the filter sizing, matched with the velocity stack to get optimum flow in combination with the filter.
Okay.
And one thing you can see here on the inside, not super relevant, but there's an S and there's a T. So S would stand for Softail, and this would be for touring. This would be to clock them. Because I don't know if your guys out there know that, but the engines in the Softail and in the Bagger are clocked slightly different. So as far as like the logo that's on the outer cover here, you want the logo to look right. But it's kind of a fun fact that the engines are clocked differently. So even like the points cover, the derby covers are slightly, you're probably aware of that. All right, we finished up the build here. 7 guys, 6 hours. We by far exceeded flat rate. 107 road glide.
Hey, if the mic can hear, it was a little bit of a lesson though. We took our time, we learned a lot of stuff, we had a good time. So could have been done way faster, but we kind of purposely took our time.
It was done right. All the hardware was changed out. We dropped the oil tank, did a full cleaning of it, but nonetheless, we've got a 107 updated with the 472 Camchest kit, the BA air cleaner. He's got the Vance and Hines 2-in-1 system on it, and he's going to roll up to Mojave, and we're going to do a comparison, see how it did.